This is what you would have currently, so in your registration step. So basically without anything. So if you run that, so that's our registration. So it will not do anything anyway. Okay, we'll just pass because all our steps are blank. We've done initially, I think we also put some console dot something. Based on the feedback from some people, I think it's a bit confusing for some people. So I decided not to put anything in there so that we just are blank, then we'll fill it as we go along. So now, like I said from here, the first step from my slide is to create your hooks. And I said you should go into, you should right click on the folder. So if I just minimize this a bit, then and also minimize this a bit. Okay, all right. So like I said, what you need to do is right click on the folder, click add and click new. So once you do that, and I said in some cases you might not be here because if you are on SpecFlow before, you will see SpecFlow. But we wanted to add our hooks. Hooks will be a code, it's not be a class code. So you would click on code and you click on class. Then you will type the name of the hook .cs basically, and you click on add. So then you have this hook. So this is one way to do it actually. So, and I'm going to remove it also and do another step. That another step is, let me delete this one. Oh, okay. So sorry. I think I'll remove the folder. I need to put that folder back. Okay. All right. So now, so another way to do that is, which is the one I propose to you. So the one I propose is you right click and you click on add and you click on new item. So when you click on new item, because it's a class, it's fine. But we want a class that should have our SpecFlow hooks based on it. So you go to SpecFlow and you put hooks. This is the step I always propose for people. So you would now change that. So that becomes hooks.cs. And you click on add. So with this, as you can see the difference, it actually creates the snippet for you automatically, so that you don't need to do anything. With the other steps I've done, I would now need to put my binding, I need to put my step definition before scenario, I need to put my after scenario. So I would just need to replace it with this. But this is basically is done everything for me, the heavy lifting. So I can now start writing my code into this particular braces on the block. So I can remove this one. That's where my code is. So like I said, now my before scenario that I said, so I want to open my driver basically. I want to open a driver. So like I said in this step, so like like I said in this step, so you will need to instantiate your driver basically. You need to instantiate your driver. So for you to do that, you will just call WebDriver. title. So of course it has to be static, completely static. So now it's showing this particular red underline, which shows that there's something I need to take note, basically. So I will tell you now. So what you need to do, you just need to right click and click on the IntelliSense. It's going to propose different things for you. So what you need to select is using OpenKeyway Selenium, OpenKeyway.Selenium. However, you might find yourself in a situation where that is not showing. You might find your situation where that is not showing. It's because you've not added your NuGet package. So if you find yourself in that situation, you just need to right click. I'll do that again. Right click on the solution and go to manage NuGet package for solution. Then you go into, if I go into my installed, and you can see I've got Selenium WebDriver, Selenium support. So if you don't have that, you're going to find yourself in that situation where you won't be able to select the keyway Selenium support, or Selenium WebDriver. So for you to do that, you need to go into browse. I covered this last week on how to add NuGet packages. So if you want to add the NuGet package, just click on browse and click on and search for WebDriver. So then you can click on that one. Then what you need to do is now you click on, you select the project and you click on install. Because I've already got it installed, that's where you can see I can uninstall. Then that's it. But if you don't have it if you don't have it installed, then you need to install it. So once it's been installed, you would be able to see it in your installed section. As you can see, it is now in installed section. I saw some people trying to search on installed for a NuGet package that they've not actually installed. If you want to install, you need to go to browse. When you've installed, then you will be able to see it in your installed section. So I hope that is clear. So let's go back here. So now, if I click on that, I can see using OpenKeyway Selenium, I can select that. What that actually does was it actually adds my class for OpenKeyway Selenium. It adds the class which is Selenium as written so that I can be able to use it in my code, basically. So that now I've got this. I now have my driver already instantiated, declared, basically. So I've got my driver declared. So the next step is for me to instantiate my driver so that I can be able to open Chrome. So as before now, when I run my code, let me run it right now. You can see nothing is happening at all because there's nothing. So now, let me now say driver is equal to new Chrome driver. So, and I said because we are using MS Test, normally if you're not using MS Test, you just do something like that and that should be fine. But because I've seen that with MS Test, it didn't actually work for me the last time I tried. So this actually did the magic. So this is me now instantiating my Chrome driver. So my Chrome driver is now instantiated like this. So as you can see also, I've got underline. I put my mouse on the underline. So then when you put your mouse on the underline, I'll see that particular IntelliSense appearing. But if you don't do that, if you just leave, and you can see that IntelliSense also here. So if you put your mouse, you have that option to do that from here. But if you don't, you can see it will also appear at the left hand side once you click inside the Chrome driver. you see this. So you can click on either one. So I can say, I will also say using OpenQA Chrome. That's what I want to do. So if you look at the top, you can see check in at the using section. Nothing about Chrome is at the top. But now I want to use the Chrome, so you need to add it to your using section. So as you can see, it's now here. So, and then that is what you have. So if I now, let me just, as a good practice, just to rebuild my solution. So after that, then let's run it and see what happens. So you can see now, I now have Chrome, an instance of Chrome appear opened. So that is what you need to do. Then after my test, what do I want to do? I want to close that Chrome. So I will say quit. So let's run it now and see what happens. As you can see, what happens now. So the Chrome is was opened, and then it was closed. So that answers the question that someone asked, that why do you use before scenario and after scenario? At my before scenario, I want to open Chrome driver. I want to be able to open Chrome driver. When I finish my testing, I don't want that browser to stay there like forever. I want to close it, basically. So that is how you would do. So now, so we'll go into the next step, as we have seen, which is now your page object. So for your page object, I said if you already have a folder for page objects, you just right click on the folder and click on add and click on new item. So, and like I said, also the same way also, you might need to go to the code and then write your page object. So it has to be a class, basically, and you would now say maybe it's a login page .cs. And yeah, I just press enter, but you could as well just press click on add. So now we have our page, login page. So, and I think I made a mistake actually, because I wanted to call it pages, basically, login pages, but I can rename them, but as well I can leave it like that. So let's just leave it as it is right now. So the next step now is for us to now start to declare our page objects. So you need to declare your page objects, how many objects you have on the page, and then you will now be writing all these page objects, because if you want to test a page, you will be either inserting something on an object or clicking on an object or element. You will need to interact with that particular page. So for every element that you want to either maybe click, insert something, or select, whatever you want to do, you need to put it on your page object. So you would create different page objects for different pages actually that you have. So for instance, I can also create another one and say maybe my registration page. I can say, okay, new. I can now say registration. Let's call it registration page. So, and that is that one. So I now have two page objects basically. So let's go to, okay, let's go to the registration page, for instance. Let's go to the registration page for instance, because we already have registration feature file already created. So what do we need to do? I think we are actually using Giftbridge website. So let's go to that site so that we can see what we So what we are expecting is we need to click on this particular element, and once you click on it, also we need to fill this particular form for registration. That's what we wanted to do with our emails and everything. So yeah, so and okay, so now the first thing I want to do is click on this element. So you need to, for you to do that, you need to right click and inspect element. So you inspect the element, and this is the element that we are looking for. So, and this is the element, and the element is this one. So you can right click and copy and say copies, let's say copy CSS, some extract or CSS. Fine. Okay, that looks like a okay. Next week we're going to look into different way to inspect and also what you need to do and everything. So there's a page that I would create for this particular purpose so that we can be able to use it. So on different module, on also different ways. So there will be already page created for you. So what I'm going to do here is to okay, so I'm going to create this element now. I'm going to say I declare iWeb element. So I'm going to call it registration button or register button. Is that what it's called? Okay, create accounts. Let's call it create accounts. So my create account is this. So, and is a web element. However, my web element is not yet, I don't have it in this particular class. So I need to add it to the my using class. So I will do the same thing that we've done before using Open Keyway Selenium. So as you can see, it's now added up. So then I'll do that. Delegate this particular create element to be what? So I'll say now this is where it becomes interesting, because I need now to call my driver basically, because my driver is the one that will interrogate with this particular page and find this particular element for me so that I can click on the element. So now this is, you need to call your driver like driver dot find element. But however, you don't have visibility of your driver because your driver is not created in this particular class. Like we know, our driver is created in our hooks folder. And one thing that we have, this is not C# class, but I'm quickly going to say this anyway. One, so when you see all these things, they mean different things. The accessor actually shows that this particular driver, it is public. That means you can actually view it in different class because it is public. So you can call it in a different class. If you say private, you cannot call it in a class that is not hook. Basically, you cannot use any other class. So, but because it is public, you can actually call it in different classes. But also, it is static. Static also shows that you don't need to instantiate it, basically. So if you don't instantiate this particular class, you will still be able to get this driver. What you just need to do is to say hook.driver. But if it's not static, then you will need to instantiate it. this is basically a C# issue. So I'll try to make this simple. Okay. So what you just need to know is that for newbies, you've actually you've made your driver to be static so that you can call it in different class. So now in our registration page, I want to call that driver, right? But I'm not able to. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to say, okay, let me extend hook. So I want to extend hook into here. So now it's giving me that error. So I'm going to do that and say, okay, I'm also going to be using registration.hooks. So what this actually is saying is that my hooks class is stored in this particular location. That's what I'm saying. Okay, because it's a sealed hook. Okay, all right, we're going to fix that also. So now what happens is telling us that this is sealed, so we need to remove that. So then that we are okay here. So but what this is saying is like my hook is stored in my project1.hooks. If you go into that hooks for the class, you will see the namespace. So basically, when you say using, you're actually kind of calling that, referring to that namespace where your class is stored. As you can see from here, project Blue Sky project1.hooks, which is my namespace here, basically. So now it's basically like an address. I want to use this hook, but it is found in this location namespace. That means it is basically project Blue Sky project1.hooks then .hook. So then I can be able to now call my driver. So I can say driver now dot find element. So it's going to find element for me. So I'm going to say, it's going to ask me how do I want to find it. I'm going to say by. So I can say now different way you can find element. You can find element by XPath. You can find element by CSS selector. You can find element by ID. You can find element by name, link text, class name, CSS selector. As well, you can also find it by name, partial text, and everything. So I'm going to look into this next week because we're going to have, I will create a form that will allow us to look into this in great detail. So now, if I say by, let's say now by, and I want to say by link text. That's what I want by link text. Basically, it's by the link. So because I know this is a link, and if you might also need to look into what this are. Basically, if you are all very newbie, so when you inspect your website, what you're actually doing is inspect the code, the HTML code that actually power that particular website. It always starts with HTML, and you have the header, you have the body. So as you can see now, this is everything. So as I have collapsed it, you start with HTML, with the header section, so you can expand the header section, which is basically different metadata that is stored on that website, and some scripts, JavaScript that is powered. So after that, you have the body. So you are most especially looking at the body, basically, because that's what you're going to be looking into. So now on the body, you would now go to where your element is. To inspect your element, like I said, you would put your mouse on that particular element that you want to inspect, right click, and then say inspect. So it would give you this yellow highlighted color to say that this is the element. So, and if you put your mouse on that yellow section, you will highlight that button that you want to click. Another way to also do that is to click on this arrow for selecting an element. If you click on that arrow, then you can go into your page and select any element that you want. So then it's going to highlight that particular code snippet. For instance, if I want to click on sign in right now, I can click on that. It goes to the snippet for the sign in. So hold on, let me see. So yes, sign in. Okay, yeah, that is the one. No, that is the one. So that's the one for the sign in. So however, so let's say this is one I'm looking for anyway, but this is A actually, which is actually because it's a link. So and div, kind of the division list is UL. So you might need to just look into, just go to WS School to just look at what these are basically. You won't. I think you might just need, so that you can get yourself familiarized with different tags that are being used. So most the common ones will be the div, the A tag, and also you see the input for buttons, and also you will see the text boxes also. So yeah, I think for button anyway. So and also you see button also for button. So yeah, so you need to, if you are not familiar with that, so you need to pick up some HTML training just to familiarize you. It's not going to be something like is like advanced, basically, just for you to know what are these jargons basically, and that should be fine basically. But in a nutshell, you will see A for links, you will see UL for list, you will see D for sections or divisions, or then as time goes on, when I see section basically. So so now to select it, just click on that and you select what you want, and it's going to be highlighted for you. Or let's say I want to highlight the login, so you can see that's the logo, or you want to select this particular one that is selected. So that's how to inspect your elements. So, and in some cases you can see your browser being on different bars in there, so but make sure it's on elements basically for you to be able to do that. So it's on elements, and also it is on responsive, because you can actually change it to different mobile actually. So just make sure it's responsive, and then you can click on this and you can select the element. So now let's select this element, and we selected it, and we saw that is a link, is A, and this is a link basically, and it says create account. That's the name of the link. So I can go into my code and say I want to select by link text, and the name the link is create account. So I put that in, okay, let me put that. So I put that in quote. So my link is going to be in quote, create account. Bear in mind, there's something that you need to look into, that the link that you are clicking is this one, but however the link is written like this basically. It's not like capital letter that you see actually here. It's create account, so it has to be written the same way it's written in your tag basically. So and so that you'll be able to find it. So now we have create accounts. So that is, now we have our create account already done for us basically. So the next step that we need to do is now to click on that particular element. For you to click on that element, now you also would create a method. So the method, like I said, is going to be public. We say public is a method that we want to create. So we would say void. Void means that we are not returning anything. Our method is not returning anything. So it's void, and we call it, we put the name of that method, and we say, let's say click create account. Then open and close brackets. So one thing that you need to understand here also, this is the name of that particular method, and there's no space in between. Everything is written in one word. bear that in mind. And also I have used type case, which is the standard way to write a method in C#. So I start every word with capital letter. Click with capital letter. Create is capital letter. Account starts with capital letter. So that's the standard way to do that. And the element that I've created there, you can see that I started it with lowercase because it's just like normal, what's it called? Identifier, basically. So if you are creating a method, you start with a capital letter. But if it's just normal ID that you are creating, you start with, or variable, you start with a lowercase. So now I have created my method. The method is just another errand boy that I need to use so that I can be able to call this particular method in my step definition. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to say, oh, as you can see now, this is showing like gray, basically. Why? Because it's saying that I have not used it. I have declared this particular variable, but I've not actually used it anywhere. So I need to use this now. For me to use it, because what this is saying that I've been able to find an element by linked text. But after I have found it, what do I need to do? I need to click on that element. So that's where you need to say create account dot. So now in there you can see different things that you can do with that element. I can clear the element, but of course it's a button, so you cannot clear a button. If it were a text box, you can say dot clear. You can click on it, and as well you can check if that element is displayed. If you say display, it's going to return true or false for you. The same way with enable, this will check if that element is enabled, and display will check if the element is displayed. So, or you can also compare if it's equal to another element anyway. So that would be, and also you can get the attribute of that particular element, and you can get the CSS value of that element, and you can get the properties of that element. Or you can check if that element is selected, like in an options or in a click radio button, if it's selected. Or you can send keys to that element. If it's a text box right now, you want to type into that element, you will say send keys. And as well, also you can get the text of that element. So we're going to cover this next week, so I will just leave it for now. So we're going to cover this because it's going to be a full session to look into how to inspect your elements. So then, like I said, I just want to click, and that will be it. So I have clicked on, I said click on it right now. So this is me with my page object. The next thing I need to do is to go into my step definition and call this particular element here and call this. So what I need to do is to go into my step definition. So where's my step definition? Registration. So registration. So where is it that so let's say, okay, and I click on register button. Let's say that is the step to click. So now this step now, I will now need to say, okay, let me just say that, okay, click on register button. That's what I want to do. But however, it is not register button. Is basically like, what is it called? Account. Create account button. So that's what I want to do in this block of statements. So how can I do that? I need to call this particular method that I have created in my page object, this method, because this method just click on that account. So this is another C# step which you might need to look into, but I will tell you in a basic way, basically, so that you don't need to worry. So, and for instance, I want to call this particular object here. I want to call this method. So like that. I want to say click. So this is what I would want to do. But as you can see, I've got error, basically. So, and the error is saying that I need to generate registration step dot, which is not what I actually wanted, because I've already created one already. But it's only that when I created it, actually, it's in a different class, and that class is called registration page. Registration page. So what I need to do now, I need to now declare this registration page in the new page that I want to use it, basically. So I would say, excuse me, sorry. So I just want to copy only the name. Okay, no, I will just type it anyway, so don't worry. So registration So that is the name registration page. That's the name of my class. But it's also giving me error. So let's see what this can help me. As you can see, oh, it said, oh, because it's in a different class. So I cannot see it because it's a different class. For me to see it, you need to use his own parents, basically. That's how you would tell a child, actually. So for you to see it, you need to add this particular namespace into your unit using clause. So I said, okay, go ahead and do that. So and that is gone. So now I can use this registration page. For now, I cannot use it directly. I want to create like a baby, right? An instance of that particular class. So I can just say, okay, I want to start with lowercase r with the same name, but only with lowercase r. So, and I will say is equal to new, that the same name. So this is now telling me, okay, now I have got registration page, which is a class, and I've got instance of that particular class. So basically, anything that I can do with this registration page or any method in this registration page, I should be able to see it now in this registration, lowercase registration page, basically. So that's what I am actually saying. Now, when I call this registration page, I would be able to get access to click create account. So what I'm going to do now is to say, okay, registration page. Then if I say dot, I can see different access. I can get different methods. I can see my after scenario, my before scenario. I can see this after scenario because I've extended my hooks to that particular function, to that particular method. That's why I can have access to it right now. As you can see, this click is there right now. Click create account is there. So I can now call it, and that's it. So basically now what is saying that I can now, do this. So this is basically what it's trying to do for me. So I can click on that particular page. So, but one thing is still missing, right? Now, if you run this page, this test is going to fail. Why? Because the browser will be opened, but we've not navigated to any page. So we need to fill in this particular step also. We need to fill in this particular step. So how do we do that? Let's go quickly to our registration also. We do the same thing, but I think we can move this step that I want to do later out. But let's say I need to create another method, and I'm calling my method now navigate to website. So later we'll look into how to clean up this better, basically, because you can parameterize it so that it doesn't need to, go into. You don't need to, if you want to go into like Google, then you want to go into Giftfree. So, but right now, they just make it simple. So, and say, okay, we just want to go to giftfree.com, basically. So what you need to do to navigate to giftfree.com is to say driver, we know our driver now. So you call it driver dot, so navigate actually. So let's go to the bottom one, same scale one, navigate. Yeah. So then it's going to say, where do you want me to navigate to? Okay, I want you to go to URL, right? So which URL do you want me to go to? So you open your brace and open your brackets, and you put your code, and you put HTTPS, you create, and that's it. So, but this should go into this particular link. It should go into this particular website. So now I have put my method there, but my step definition is in this class. So the same way, because now what happens is my navigate to website is in my registration page. It makes job easy for me because I've got access to registration page from here. So what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'll just copy, let me just registration page dot. So as you can see, I've got navigate to website. So I can open and close. So by that, so when I say navigate to website, it's going to go into that step for me. It's going to go here and then navigate to the site. So that is what we're going to cover tonight.